Sometimes I forget to turn this thing on. I was trying to get in to the cafe, only to find out I was using the service entrance and was just about to come in through the kitchen. Not a good idea. Here's the place. Let's see what they've got. I feel a little bit silly about this. I was going to try and show what the menu looked like, but the only thing is it's on a computerized entry system, and it's mostly in Danish and Greenlandic, so I'm not entirely sure what we got for Daniel, other than it's a club sandwich. And there's a thing about and I'm assuming it's breast meat, so I'm expecting it to be chicken. So we're kind of taking our chances on that. Meanwhile, I'm having the musk ox burger, which, again, you're only going to get this chance once, so we're going to give this a try. And just noticed, looking out the window, that our view from where we're sitting includes a waterfall pretty much right in the middle of town. Could be part of the stream, I'm not entirely sure. There's certainly probably the runoff from the mountains above. I have to admit to being curious as to how many of their patrons are locals and how many are those of us from the cruise. I'm sure they're not used to quite the crowd that we're getting here. And I'm wondering too about that maximum capacity number as to whether we're violating it at this point. It's certainly nothing that they really need to contend with on a regular basis, I suppose, being that they're in a town of only about 3,100 people. On the other hand, being the one cafe in the entire town, maybe they are. So here's our meal, the musk ox burger for myself and the club sandwich for Daniel. We'll see what this tastes like. Looks like we've got an interesting brown bread here. I have to admit to having been a little bit worried about that because Daniel's club sandwich really didn't make it clear as to what it was made out of. Fortunately, it is chicken. I was afraid that Greenland being where it is, that it would be some kind of fish. But I guess the breast is all right. So, what do you think? He's nodding in approval. Any particular thoughts about it? Any particular thoughts? Fair enough. Meanwhile, the tater tots are fairly straightforward. A little bit on the salty side. But the real thing here is the musk ox burger. So we're going to see what that's like. Honestly, I'm assuming it's going to be very much like beef, but to be honest, part of me wants to channel my inner Clara Peller because there's a lot of bun here and not quite so much. I assume it's kind of like beef. It is. And there really isn't that much more to this other than the cheese. There is some bacon and just a little bit of mayo in here. They're trying to make the meat speak for itself, but ensconced as it is in so much bread, it doesn't have a whole lot to say.
Was fries? No. Fries? 50% off. All locals?
All right, let me see if I can give a decent assessment of this. It is, surprisingly, it doesn't taste that much different from regular beef. I can't even say that it's gamey or anything like that. There's nothing particularly distinctive about it, other than the fact that it is presumably of the local musk ox.
Haven't made me take out my nose ring yet.
I know, you don't see it until you see it.
Yeah, it's reasonably good. It's almost indistinguishable from beef, and there's also this feeling of, I mean, this is real beef type of thing. You know, not some of your hormone pumped stuff from back home. But by and large, there isn't a distinctive flavor to it that really calls out and says, this is special one way or the other, which is a bit of a shame, and yet at the same time, you don't want it to be too weird either. The cheese and, oh, they have onions on here too. And I guess they've got bacon, but I haven't gotten to it yet. Is, oh, that's a slightly sweet onion. That's a nice choice. It actually works very well. Gives it a slightly British flavor because of the cheese and onion, but you know. By and large, it's good, but it's surprisingly ordinary. Sounds like a condemnation. It's not. It's good. It's just, and there's a lot of the just what it is that it calls to it, but it's not as special as I thought it might be. So there you are. But at least I've tried it, and it's certainly not objectionable. It's very good. It's just kind of typical. But at least it's nice to know that they have a local source for their ground beef. Good on them. And it also has appeal to the tourist who's obviously never tried something like musk ox. It really isn't that far removed from the beef that we're familiar with. So there's that. At least they have their fair share of means of acquiring protein.
What is this? And where did you find it?
And it has a certain exotic cachet for those of us who have no idea what musk ox tastes like. Now you know. It really is very much like beef. It's juicy, it's tasty, but it's not, it doesn't have any notes to it that really call out and say, I'm different. So, but you have to try it in order to find out. So there you are. One interesting touch is that I ordered a drink that they had on the menu that I didn't recognize. It was simply called Faxe Kondi, Faxekondi, and to be honest, it just looks like some kind of lemon lime beverage, and that's really what it tastes like. Daniel tells me it's not Sprite, and I don't recognize whether it is just another name for Starry here, but yeah, I'm almost disappointed that it's not something unusual in terms of the flavor, but there you are. Tried to do something different, wound up with something fairly typical. So, well, it's a good thing we weren't in a complete hurry for this sort of thing. We got forgotten about, both for our drinks that were supposed to go with our meal and for the boba tea that I'd ordered for Daniel. And to keep coming back and asking, can you get back to that? What do you think? Anything unusual or? I know they were shaking it up and giving it some froth, so I was curious as to whether there was a different flavor to it. Is it milky or festive? Interesting. Is there a carbonation kind of thing to it? No? No carbonation, and I don't taste anything particularly dairy about it. Interesting. Or, well, no, maybe a little bit like melted sherbet. Not that I know whether that's typical or not, but there you are. Anyway, we're on our way to walk through the rest of the town.